Have you got a fabric stash that is out of control? Then join me, because it's time to give it a health check with my 10-point fabric control plan. Hi there, I'm Christine the Gemini Stitcher and welcome to my sewing space. Yes, you heard me right, we're giving the fabric stash a really good health check and we're going to keep it healthy through the year with my 10-point action plan. So if your stash is driving you nuts, you can't see the wood for the trees, it's stinting your creativity because there's just too much of it, maybe this is the action plan for you too. Wind the clock back a couple of weeks and I did a vlog all about my sewing shack of shame. It was an absolute tip. So if this is what your stash is looking like, then watch that vlog first and then it'll give you an idea of how we've got to where I am now. But today is all about giving your fabric stash a health check. And now the first thing you need to do if you've got a sewing shack of shame like mine is sort that out first. Then pull all your fabrics out that you think you want to keep and go through them with a fine-tooth comb. If you love it, make sure that the colour suits you, put the fabric up against your face. If it drains you, don't keep it, because it's never going to look right when you've made it and you're not going to look stunning in it, so why are you keeping it? You could use it as layering garments or you could use it as trousers or skirts. Keep it away from your face. So you might be able to keep it that way if you're desperate. But you need to sort your fabric into 4 piles. So action plan number 1 was pull all your fabric out, have a look at it and decide if you really love it. But we're going to put the fabric into 4 piles. So point number 2 is the pile for charity. Now, I'm not saying stick them all in the bag that comes through your door, because they probably won't take fabric, but there are other ways of being charitable with fabric that you really are not wanting to keep. Do not throw it in the bin. So the options that I've come up with are these fabrics are fabrics that you consider are low to no value, so not really worth selling on Vinted or anywhere like that. So you can find a local charity, as I've done, that the one I've found helps the homeless and they do sewing lessons with them. So I'm going to take a lot of my decent sized scraps to them. The other thing you can do with them, as I'll be doing as well, is take them to a sewing social. I run my own social, so the girls are going to have a field day in February when I take about 4 bags of goodies for them to have a really good rummage through. And then what they don't want will go to the homeless charity in Bolton. So they're the options for your low value, decent size pieces of fabric. Find a local charity, take them to a social, take them to a local school. They are always grateful for things that they can use for doing collages and things like that. So your smaller scraps, take them to a local school or college. But one thing, please, please do not throw them away. Point number 3 is about destashing. So your 4 piles, you've got your charity pile, the second pile is your destash pile. These are fabrics that you no longer love but have a monetary value to them. I've recently been doing a huge destash over on Instagram, and that's where you can do the destash. You can set up an Instagram account that is a destash account, post them all in there. The other place that I've been looking at doing a destash to is Vinted. I've not tried it yet, but ones that don't work on my destash, I'll then put them on Vinted. And if I get to a point where nobody really wants that fabric, then it will go to point number 1, the charity. But I'm going to try and destash as much of my fabric as I can, because that puts more money in my fabric fund to keep my fabric stash healthy and replace it with new fabrics that I love. And they're for free then, aren't they, if you sold fabric? So why would you not do it? So action point number 3 is put the fabrics in your scrap collection. And yes, let's be honest, it is another collection, isn't it? So this is my woven scrap storage container or bag, and I've got another one that has got stretch fabrics in. These are clothes storage zip-up bags that I got off Amazon. They have 3 compartments in them, and then they've got clear windows on the front so I can see what colour scraps I've got. I've separated them into 3 sizes, so small, medium and large scraps. And every month I get this out and I do a scrap busting week, and that week is going to be next week. So store your scraps in a way that you can see them all. Don't just dump them all into a bin liner, because they're nice pieces of fabric and they deserve to be loved as much as the original fabric that you purchased. All mine are folded, ironed, all nice and neat in these bags, and I really enjoy having a good rummage through and getting creative and using my scraps. Point number 5 then is the fabrics that you're keeping. Be really honest with yourself. I've gone through all mine and I'm storing them here in colours, and I've held every single one of these fabrics up to me, had to think what I'm going to make with it, and I'll show you in a minute the spreadsheet that I've created as well. Yes, I've gone all out on this one. I'm really determined to control and keep my fabric stash healthy in 2026. So have a look at your fabric. Do you really love it? What are you going to make with it? And if you can't think what you're going to make with it, maybe you're never going to make something. I'm not saying get rid of every fabric that you can't decide what you're making with. You might just want to say, oh yes, that's a jacket and I'm definitely making that. I love the colours. That's fine. You don't have to put a specific pattern to it. But if you know what pattern you're definitely making with that fabric, put that information down as well. So you've gone through all your fabrics, you've got your charity pile, you've got your destash pile, you've got your fabric scraps, which you're storing separately, then they don't mess with your head. And you've got your precious fabric pile that you're going to keep. So I've done that with mine, and they're all on a spreadsheet. So we'll pop over to my spreadsheet now, and then you can see how I'm using it to try and control my fabrics. So this is the spreadsheet I've done on sheets, and it's my fabric stash. So I've got a description, then the fabric content, how much fabric I've got, then whether it's woven or jersey. And then this column here tells me which shelf on my Kallax units that fabric is. And then the last two columns are my current ideas of what I'm going to use that fabric for, just to focus my mind. So do you think it might help you using a spreadsheet? It's certainly, I'm hoping, going to help me. I'll be able to sit in the lounge, and when I'm doing my scrolling of fabric and patterns, I can check it and remind myself what I've actually got, and then I don't end up with one of my shelves. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of denim. Am I ever going to sew them all? Or I've got a green denim as well, so that's 6. Probably I'm keeping them all because I love them all. But if I'd have realised I had that many pieces of denim, would I have bought them all? That's a question I can't answer, but we'll see what happens going forward. So the next point is how you store your precious fabrics that you're going to keep. I sorted mine into woven and jersey fabrics, and then I sorted them into 4 different colour ranges. So these top 4 cubbies have got all my woven fabrics in. So we've got all the whites and blues, we've got all the pinks and purples together, got all the greens together, and all the browns together. They're the 4 colours that I've picked for the 4 cubbies, and they work for me. If you wear a lot of different colours, but try and, if you've only got limited space like me, I have 2 sets of 4 cubbies, and that's it. So the top 4 of mine have got my 4 different colour schemes in of woven fabric. Now, how do we store the fabric on the shelf? I've tried loads of different ways. I've tried rolling it, I've tried putting them into storage boxes in the unit. That didn't work because I couldn't see them. I much prefer the folding method. The reason being, I can put the fabrics that go together near each other. I can see them all. I know you can see them all if you roll them, but you can't fit as many fabrics on a shelf, and if you've got limited space like me, that is not going to work for you. So I use the folding method. You can see all the fabrics that you've got in that colour range. Now, I won't pull that fabric and tug it from there. Take all the fabric off that's on top of it, take the fabric out that I want, and then put it all back and keep it nice and tidy and neat. I'm not saying it stays like that all the time, but once a month I have a good tidy of my fabric stash cubbies and just keep it all nice, easy to see, calm, relaxing. Sewing's meant to be enjoyable. There's nothing more frustrating than thinking, oh, that's the fabric I want to sew with, and then you can't flipping find it. That annoys the heck out of me. So this way works for me. Point number 7, we've already covered earlier, but I'll remind you of it. And it's keep a list of all the fabrics that you've got, whether you do it on a spreadsheet like I do, whether you use Stash Hub, a lot of people love that method, or whether you just write them all down in a journal. Some people keep them on cards in a card filing system with little swatches of the fabric as well. There's lots of different ways of doing it. I'm just trying putting them all on a spreadsheet, and we'll see how we go. I might put images on there. I haven't done yet, but that's something I might think of if I start using it and I think I can't even think what that is. Then I need to put a little image box in there as well. So find a way that works for you. Log all your fabrics, so you need to know the colour and the design, the fabric content. Is it cotton, is it viscose, is it jersey, how much fabric you've got on that piece of fabric, because that dictates what you can make with it. An idea of what you want to make with that fabric as well, to focus your mind on whether you actually need it in your stash. Every fabric that I've got in these cubbies has been allocated a pattern. That pattern may change with time, but it's focused my mind on what I'm actually going to use that fabric for, and any that I couldn't think or didn't suit me have gone in my destash. I've been brutal. So we've got all our fabric all looking nice and bonny, and we're happy and we're sewing away and everything's going swimmingly. If you're like me, I done a vlog on Monday, bob back and watch it if you like, all about my overwhelm with my winter sewing fabrics. I've got more fabric that's winter fabric than I can physically sew. I sew seasonally, so we're coming to the end of the winter now, so in my head by the end of February I'm not going to be wanting to sew winter fabrics anymore, and February is a short month. So I think I've got about 18 garments to sew in February if I'm going to use up all my winter fabrics. Now, I don't have to do that. I don't have to get them all sewn. But what I'm saying is, and this is action plan number 8, when you come to near the end of a season of sewing, the last month that you're going to sew for that season, like winter, pull all the winter fabrics out, look at them all, allocate a pattern to them and prioritise them and do them in that order. So anything that's really big and chunky, you're never going to sweatshirt in, that's really heavy, boucles, wool coating, you're never going to wear probably by the time you get to March, so maybe you should prioritise getting those out of the way first, and then you at least get some joy out of the garments before the weather warms up. You catch my drift. You might have another way of prioritising. You might want to prioritise by the colours that they are. If they're bright summery colours, then you might get away with wearing those in spring. The autumnal colours, possibly not, so you might want to sew those first. But get them all out, prioritise them in order, try and decide what you're making with them, and just work your way through it. Make as many of them as you can. So point number 9 is about what you do with the fabric when you get to the end of the sewing season. So when I get to the end of February, let's be realistic, I am not going to have sewn 18 garments. But what do I do with the fabric? You need to look at it again, reevaluate it again. Do you still love the fabric? What are you going to make with it? Are you going to make that and wear it next winter? Do the colours suit you? Double check that again, because our skin tones change. So you need to decide, are you going to put that away for next year's sewing and you will use it, or are you going to destash it, get some of your money back and use that money to start buying your beautiful light and floaty spring and summer fabrics? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work my way through those 18 garments and what's left I need to really have a good think about. Do I really want to keep this fabric? If I do, that's fine, I can store it, but I'm storing it in the knowledge that I absolutely love it, and I know what I'm making with it, and I know it's going to slot into my wardrobe next winter. So point 10, if you're still with me, well done. Point 10 is the last point in my action plan, and it's bringing out the fabric that I've stored from last spring and summer, and doing the same as I've done with the winter fabrics before I've put them away. Do I still love the fabric? Because even though I loved it when I put it away, I might have changed my mind completely. That's fine, but go through the process again. Do you love the fabric? Does the colour suit you, or does it drain you? Be honest with yourself. You don't need to go and have your colours done. Stand in a well-lit, naturally lit room if you can, in front of a full-length mirror, put the fabric up against you and see what you think. If you love it with your skin tone, it doesn't matter what colour they tell you should and shouldn't use, you should wear it because you'll feel great in it, and that's why we make our own clothes. Not because we want to follow a colour wheel that we're told we're cool or we're warm, we're spring, we're summer, we're an autumn, we're a winter tone. I fluctuate between all the different colours on the colour wheel, and that's just me. So what do you think? Is it a plan? There's 10 things to do. Some of them overlap each other, but it's a process of keeping your fabric healthy year round and keeping on top of it. It's definitely what I'm going to do in 2026. So all mine are now on my shelves ready to sew, and I've got 50 odd fabrics. Now, I'm not after reducing my stash this year. I've tried it before, does not work. I love buying fabric, I love making clothes, and I love having a stash with options and choices. But what this action plan is all about is keeping this stash healthy, vibrant, inspiring, not looking at it and thinking, oh my God, that fabric's still there, I better make something with it. What am I going to make with it? You catch my drift? They're constantly, each season, they're changing. I'm recouping some money from the fabrics that I've made mistakes with, because we all make mistakes and we never learn from them. We're all drawn to fabrics when we see them online, when they come. The best will in the world, photography cannot truly convey the colour that that fabric is, and sometimes we're disappointed. That's okay. They go in the destash and you get some more fabric, and you keep recycling, if you like, your fabric stash, making things, loving them, and having a healthy stash that inspires you to sew wonderful, amazing garments. So get everything out. Go to point 1. Bite the bullet. Pull all your fabrics out. Spend a few days, if it takes a few days, sorting them into those 4 piles, and then you're on your road to a healthy, happy, usable, inspiring stash of fabrics.